Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Panchatattva Jayo Panchatattva Nisimhadev Jaya Jaya Nisimhadev Jayo Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Shri Radha Madhava Sasaki ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Nisimhadev Bhagavana ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvijakacharya Ashotara Shata Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvijakacharya Ashotara Shata Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Gangamai Yamunamai ki jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Brihad Mridanga ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are on the canto number 1, chapter number 5, verse 33. Narada Muni's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam. Amayo Yash Cha Bhutanam Jayate Jena Subrata Tad Eva Hi Amayam Dravijam Nam Punati Chikitshitam Atmayoyascha Bhutanam Amayoyascha Bhutanam Jayate Jena Suvrata Jayate Jena Suvrata Tadeva Hiyamajam Dravyam Tadeva Hi Amajam Javyam Na Punati Chikstishitam Na Punati Chiktishitam Amayojascha Bhutanam Jayate Jena Suvrata Tadeva Hiyamajam Dravyam Na Punati Chikshitam Amayojascha Bhutanam Jayate Jena Suvrata Tadeva Hi Amajam Dravyam Na Punati Chikshitam. Prabhus? Amayascha Bhutanam Jayateyena Subrata Tadeva Hiyamanyam Dravyam Apunati Chakshishitam. Mataji? Suvrata Tadeva Hiyamanyam Dravyam Na Punati Chikishitam Amaya deceased, Yacham, whatever, Bhutanam, of the living being, Jayate, become possible, Yena, by the agency, Subrata, O good soul, Tat, that, Eva, very, He, certainly, Amayam, disease, Dravyam, thing, Na, does it now, Punati, cure, Chiktishitam, treated with. Translation. O good soul, does not a thing applied therapeutically cure a disease which was caused by that very same thing? Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. An expert physician treats his patient with therapeutic diet. For example, meal preparations sometimes cause disorder of the bowels, but the very same milk converted into curd and mixed with some other remedial ingredients cures such disorders. Similarly, the threefold miseries of material existence cannot be migrated simply by material activities. Such activities have to be spiritualized, just as by fire iron is made red hot, and thereby the action of fire begins. Similarly, the material conception of things is once changed as soon as it put in the service of the Lord. That is the secret of spiritual success. We should not try to lord it over the material nature, nor should we reject material things. The best way to make the best use of a bad bargain is to use everything in relation with the Supreme Spiritual Being. Everything is an emanation from the Supreme Spirit, and by His inconceivable power, He can convert spirit into matter and matter into spirit. Therefore, a material thing, so-called, is at once turned into a spiritual force by the great will of the Lord. The necessary condition for such a change is to employ so-called matter in the service of the Spirit. That is the way to treat our material diseases and elevate ourselves in the spiritual plane where there is no misery, no lamentation, and no fear. When everything is thus employed in the service of the Lord, we can experience that there is nothing except the Supreme Brahman. The Vedic mantra that everything is Brahman is thus realized by us. So translation one more time. O good soul, does not a thing applied therapeutically cure a disease which was caused by that very same thing? Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashta Bhutala Shimate Jai Pataka Swamiti Namine Namacharya Hvalaya Nitai Kripadane Gora Katadnamadana Garagaramatharine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashta Bhutala Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gaurevani Pacharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasachadesha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhupeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So, this is probably my favorite canto in Srimad Bhagavatam, besides Canto 10. Because in Canto number 1 we can find so many answers on all different questions that maybe we can come up during our spiritual life. The full essence is given in the Canto number 1. And it's very important for those who wants to try to become Vaishnavas. And why I'm saying to try to become Vaishnavas, I will explain during today's class. And those who are trying to become devotees, bhaktas, to perform the bhakti yoga. And also we should distinguish between traditional religious personalities and those who really want to go deeper into spirituality and to connect with the Lord on a higher level. So basically, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam started in a very interesting way. First of all, the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam is actually, we're in the forest of Naimashiranya, right? Those who've been there, they know it's really a special place. It's a very spiritual place. It's just maybe around 80 miles from Mathura in Uttar Pradesh. And it's been since, I was recalling that first of gatherings there was like 23,000 years ago, and then there was regular gatherings from rishis, from different sadhus in different ages. And basically, the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the beginning of Kali Yuga, that there were 80,000 rishis came, led by Shaunaka Rishi, and they started performing different austerities because it was just about to become a Kali Yuga time, and they wanted to try to prevent all these different damages that Kali Yuga brings by itself. And they approached Sutta Goswami, probably the most senior between them, and the one who was most elevated between all, and who was actually close connected to Shukadev Goswami and Srila Vyasadeva, his father ultimately. And they asked him different questions about devotional service, about Srimad Bhagavatam itself. And first they wanted actually to ask why there was a need for Srimad Bhagavatam, why Srimad Bhagavatam came up. And then in the first five chapters, actually, the Sutta Goswami is explaining the reason of Srimad Bhagavatam to come up. Actually, Srila Vyasadeva, the first book that he compiled was the Mahabharata. And Mahabharata was the fantastic historical narration. It was full of advices how we can transform our material activities into fruitful activities connected with the Lord, religious activities. And it was said, even Srila Vyasadeva mentioned that Mahabharata was meant for the women, laborers and friends of the twice born. That was the purpose, basically to approach the spiritual knowledge to all different groups of people, not just those who are on the highest level of consciousness. And it had a great effect. Really, it was accepted fantastically. I mean, it helped many generations, but somehow still didn't bring the full joy in the life of Srila Vyasadeva. He was disturbed. He didn't know basically what is wrong, because it was fantastic compilation. It was helping a lot. It was praised by many, but somehow he didn't feel the peace in the heart. And of course, when we don't feel a peace in the heart, the best way is to consult with Guru Sadhu Shastra, right? So he was basically in his cottage next to Saraswati River, and he was meditating and reflecting about what is missing. And in that moment, the Narada Muni, his spiritual master, came to him, and he started explaining him what is missing, why Mahabharata is not complete, what is addition to that which can help those who are interested in spiritual topics to go back to the Lord. And basically, to make long story short, Srila Narada Muni, he was explaining to Srila Vyasadeva that what is missing, what is the biggest secret, what is not mentioned so much in Mahabharata is that remembering and glorifying the pastimes of the Lord. And also what was very important subject was actually how we can make our connection with the Lord stronger, how we can become material human beings, become a spiritual ones, because our initiate soul is spiritual, the matter is spiritual, it's not material at all. So how we can wake up our consciousness. And Narada Muni was using basically his history record. He mentioned also that in the previous life he was born in the son of maid, or the maidservant. And that maidservant, she was serving a great Vedanta sages, Vedanta Brahmanas, so not just any Brahmanas, it was Vedanta Brahmanas. She was serving for 2, that means whole rainy season, 4 months, and then whole autumn, another 4 months, that means almost 8 months he spent with those sages serving them. And during service to them, actually, they were so pleased with his attitude. He was just a boy. With his attitude and his service that in one moment they allowed him to take remainings from the food they took, from prasadam. And after that, he became really elevated in his consciousness and start performing different austerities and start realizing that the most important path is the path of devotional service. There is no other path to approach, the spiritual platform of the Krishna consciousness, of the serving to the Lord. So basically, they give him instruction in the most confidential knowledge, and that most confidential knowledge those Vedanta Brahmanas given to Narada Muni is actually essential instruction from him to Srila Vyasadeva, and base of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why it's very important of us, and actually even today's verse is very much connected to that, because just previous verse that you heard yesterday is actually that secrets of the secrets, that why we need Srimad Bhagavatam in our life. So they instructed him, and this basic instruction came out directly from the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. That best cure for material disease is to dedicate someone's activities to the service of the Supreme Personality of the Lord. And that's the previous verse. Today we are on 33, and yesterday was 32. So basically the base, the essence of everything what those Brahmanas were sharing with Narada Muni was actually that we should not stop our activities. We should transform our activities into something what we call spiritual activities. Basically everything what we do, whatever we think, whatever we perform, we need to offer to the Lord. And that's the essence of spiritual knowledge. And that's the reason even why Srimad Bhagavatam came out. So in this further verse, Srila Vyasadeva is explaining that actually Sutta Goswami was explaining that the truth is that whatever we perform, if we perform on a certain way and with certain consciousness, instead of bringing us in the lowest levels of the consciousness, can bring us a lot of benefit. So it's not that performance is the one we have to change. We have to change the consciousness and approach how we perform those performances, how we perform those activities during the day, during our lifetime. And it's very important with whom we are spending time, how we are spending time, what are thoughts going on, do we have a regular sadhana or not, and basically everything what we do during day and night, it counts. And it can bring us up or down. It's never the same. There is no straight line in devotional service. It's always up or down, so we have to be careful and conscious all the time. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said that only way to treat material disease is to employ so-called matter in the service of the spirit. We are surrounded by matter, right? We are surrounded by spirit also, but he is in some form that with our material senses we cannot recognize much. So basically everything what is around is something that we can touch, that we can smell, we can see, we can hear. And all that we have to try to engage in devotional service. Basically, matter is not different than the Lord. It's His extension. And it's there for two purposes. One purpose for those who want illusion, to create that illusionary world for them, and for those who want spirituality, to help them to use that matter to connect again with the Lord and to go back to the spiritual world. And it's up to us to choose. It's not that we should wait Lord to choose for us. Krishna cannot choose for us. We are only one who can choose whether we want to go back to home, the spiritual world, or we want to stay here. Those who want to stay here, they will have plenty of opportunities to do so and plenty of activities, and they will always try to look for happiness, to be happy. But that happiness in material world, especially in the Kali Yuga, is non-achievable. It's task impossible. And people are trying, souls, they're trying for ages and centuries to enjoy, and they just failed again and again every time. So further, if we go through the canto, the chapter number 5, there is very important answer for us also on the question you will hear in a few days, but I want to mention today because it's important for us. What is Bhakti Yoga? We all call ourselves a Bhakti Yogis, right? We are performing Bhakti Yoga. We travel sometime, somebody's asking us. I've been recently to Europe, and the person, I was talking to somebody, friends of devotees, he was asking, which kind of yoga are you performing? Because when they hear yoga on the West, they think it's like exercise. And I don't look like yogi really, so they're asking, okay, which kind of yoga? I said, oh, it's very nice, sweet yogas for people like me. We call it a Bhakti Yoga. The next question is actually, what is a Bhakti Yoga, right? So now, very interesting thing is that time I was thinking, do I really know the right answer? I'm performing certain yoga, and it's not Ashtanga, and it's Bhakti Yoga. So what is the answer? What is the Bhakti Yoga? And actually, the answer also lies in the chapter number 1, in the canto number in the chapter number 5 of the canto number 1, and it's written there that whatever work. Sorry, 35. It's written, whatever work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord is called Bhakti Yoga. So let me repeat one more time, because we'll try to go further, deeper into this topic. Whatever work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord is called Bhakti Yoga. That means whatever we do, if it's connected with the mission, with satisfaction of the mission, right? This is something what we call a Bhakti Yoga. And we can call also ourselves a Bhakti Yogis. Otherwise, maybe we are some kind of yogis, but we are not the Bhakti Yogis really. So somebody to be able to be a Bhakti Yogi, he needs to be connected with the mission for satisfaction of the Lord. That means whatever we do, it needs to bring some pleasure to the Lord. And then we can call it a Bhakti Yoga. Now, we can reflect, we can think about what could be our possible mission. But all of us who join this movement, ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, usually in Vedic tradition is if you join to a certain ashram, a certain movement, you need to follow the vision and mission of founder acharyas, those who established the foundations of those movements. So in our case, our founder acharya is Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada gave answer many times to this question when they ask him, what is your mission? They ask him in Bombay that question, they ask him in Los Angeles, they ask him in San Francisco, they ask him in Australia the same question one time. What is your mission in the life? What is the mission of this movement? What is the purpose? And Srila Prabhupada was always giving almost same answer. Krishna tu Bhagavan Swayam. Again, canto number 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto number 1, chapter 3, verse 28. Simple answer to this verse is, here is Bhagavan. Or, let me bring Bhagavan to you, or let me explain that Bhagavan is all around us. So that was the mission of Srila Prabhupada, and he always explained that. Of course, that particular mission pulls together also opening of thousands of temples, hundreds of restaurants, millions and millions of books, spread around the globe and delivered to different fortunate souls. But essence of mission is actually that we need to understand that everything around us is the Lord Krishna. Everything. Doesn't matter is it material, is it spiritual, it doesn't matter if it's in one form or the other form, it doesn't matter is it a cover with certain cover labels or whatever, it's Krishna, is the Lord. And we need to accept it as a fact, as a truth. And then we have to recognize where we belong in that mission. We need to know what is our label, we need to know who we are. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that he is the talent in the person. Let's start with that. Do we have some talents? How we can help Srila Prabhupada? Let's engage those talents in service for the Lord. Let's see how I can engage my certain abilities in the service of the Lord. Or if I have certain disabilities, why I should perform that for the Lord when I can find some devotee, we can get somebody who is much better and more qualified for that and let him perform because that's his ability and my disability. We are not born to do everything. We are born to do certainty, to be just small part of that great machine, which we call a spiritual Sankirtan movement. Let's put it that way. So basically, this is our mission. And if we want to be bhakti yogis, that means we have to be connected with that mission because we accepted to be part of that movement and to be, member of this society. So everybody who is performing devotional service, it's not enough just to do it for himself. It has to be done for others, for the benefit of others. The full essence of Bhakti Yoga is basically receive, implement in your life, and spread further message. The 3 steps, that means. You cannot start spreading without receiving. You cannot start spreading without implementing in your life first. Please wake up every morning 3:30. I mean, I'm waking up every morning 9 o'clock, but doesn't matter. You have to wake up 3:30 every morning because it's good for you, I can tell you. How I can tell that? It's not possible. It's just not possible. I need to perform certain things to be able to preach that. Or I need to separate myself. I can say, okay, there is a certain knowledge, it's fantastic, it's great, it's ideal, I cannot handle the whole thing, so some parts are very weak for me, but it's ideal to perform that. That means I separate myself from the knowledge. Otherwise, we are not ideal messengers. And it's very important to differentiate that. Otherwise, people will be disappointed in the end if they find out. So now, there is explanation also, again in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in chapter number 1, what are human beings in Kali Yuga, how that looks, who we are actually. First of all, why our life is so short and is getting shorter every 100 years. The lifetime is getting shorter, and they're saying that on the end of the Kali Yuga, the life will be so short that people will die after only 20, 30 years, who are lucky ones, right? And there are many disadvantages coming, after Kali Yuga starts spreading more and more strong. So there is saying that Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives, they are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada explains the importance of sadhana. So basically, we need to accept fact that Kali Yuga is not ideal time for human race. It's actually the worst time. It's worst time even for performing the spiritual service, spiritual life. We are always disturbed. At least one time per day, many of us feel angry. Many more than that. We always feel that we are not so lucky. We always accept different acharyas, even during day. How many of us are opening newspaper to check how is Corona spreading around the world, or what's happened with Trump, or this, or that? Those are certain topics which are maybe important for majority of the world, but are they really important for us? Is there anything which is more important? Is there anything that we can do that particular moment which can bring us higher, greater level of consciousness? Why we don't perform that? We want to be informed. Advantage of internet those days. Internet didn't exist for all different yugas, and suddenly, boom, Kali Yuga showed up. It's fantastic. Now we can access to millions and millions of information every single day. And we think we are smart if we get those informations. Actually, we are just feeling our limited space, our limited, hard disk in the head with certain things which we're not going to use so much, instead of filling up with those which we can use a lot in our mission for this moment. So, there are certain, you see, basically it's not that the recommendation of great sadhus is please go to Himalayas, find some beautiful cave for you, small, secret place. Just go there, meditate, chant, perform austerities, have a limited intake, and wait your moment to pass away and go back to the spiritual world. This is not recommendation for the Kali Yuga. This is, most of the cases, not possible in the Kali Yuga. Because we are always disturbed. We can find that the most secret cave in the most secret mountain in the world. And we can hide forever, but we take our mind with us. And the influence of Kali Yuga is there also. We cannot hide from that. And basically, it's very hard to control that mind. And it will always bring us disturbance. And there is the best way to cool the mind and to cultivate the mind is actually to engage that mind in devotional service for the Lord. And that devotional service for the Lord is the only shelter that we can have. And it's better than any cave. It's better than any meditation. And it's confirmed by sadhus. First of all, we have to respect our ability to enjoy. So it's not that we should stop enjoying. We should just change the way how we enjoy. All our life, basically, even those who doesn't want to be devotees or anything, they're trying to enjoy. Every second of their life, every day, every night. Everybody's trying to enjoy here on different ways, in different capacities. And for that enjoyment, we have to include our senses, right? But the point is that always all those enjoyments are connected with 12 different rasas. In Vedic scripture, it's explained what are those rasas, and there are 12 of them. And always everything is turning around them. Some of them are more lovely and auspicious. Some of them are more what we call not so auspicious time in the life, but still we enjoying that on one way or another. And we all have tendency to change rasas during the day and to try to feel them again and again and again. So rasa number one is anger. That's rasa number one, Rudra. We believe that we don't want to be angry at all, but part of us actually wants to feel that rasa also. It's there. So basically we have to control that we don't end up in Rudra, because it's not good for our spiritual life. It's make changes in the placement of the chakras, make changes in the consciousness. There's so many things are happening after we become angry. Next one is wonder. We are always wondering. This is the one which brings us to the level that we want to have more and more information all the time. Abhuta, wonder. Every time we want to learn something new. Now mobile phone is our best friend. Oh, my precious. I'm wondering what's happening now there. Okay. I'm wondering why. Okay. I'm wondering, is this diet best for me? Okay. You know, it's like our before it was even not in the dreams that somebody can take some piece of like gadget with him all the day and just, you know, when you're walking on the streets on the West now, not everywhere now, right? Those days, like the other day I was coming back from Calcutta in some AC train, and there was, I saw almost all people who were sitting on their seats, they're having mobile phone and they're doing something. And I'm just wondering, I'm thinking, imagine that somebody from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, 15th, 14th century, comes here and see that picture. The full train of people with something in their hands, and they're looking into that and doing like that. And they will think like, oh my God, what is this? What's going on here? Something wrong, something weird. But that abhuta, wonder, is actually pushing us again and again to take information in. Now we can say, I don't want to receive information anymore. I don't want this rasa in my life anymore. But is that right? No. Mind will become more and more disturbed. So if mind wants rasa, if mind wants to wander, if wants information, let's take the right information. Let's read Shastras. Srila Prabhupada didn't say 1 hour of reading per day. Srila Prabhupada said minimum 1 hour reading per day. So if we are very curious, we can read more. 2 hours, 3 hours. We can check what is happening in different yatras. We can see if we can help some devotees. That's also a Buddha. That's also wonder. But it's spiritual wonder. It's connected with the Lord, and we get a lot of benefit of that. So it's not about not doing activities, it's about changing activities. Next one is conjugal love. Shingara. The right, it's Shringara, right? So we always want to have romance, right? Want to feel something, want to feel how we call it love in material world. And it's our basic need. So if we try to avoid that, again we're going to end up in a problem with our mind. So instead of trying to avoid that, we can transform that. Let's try to develop the conjugal love for the Lord. You know, relationship with the Lord, you know, it's not the same like relationship with boyfriend or girlfriend. You know, we can have the higher relationship, but it is conjugal love. We can develop love, and we can develop the loving exchange. And that's something much higher than any regular conjugal love that we can perform. We are always trying to get the ideal marriage, ideal connection, ideal situation in the life, but we never achieve that. You know, all those who is married here? Can you raise up your hands? So we have few married, yes. So you understand my point. In beginning, it's everything is fantastic. It's great. It's going in it's like flowers but then later you figure out that every relationship is not just conjugal love. I mean, you have to go through different phases, and even that ashram is there for purification. It's not just for enjoyment. But relationship with the Lord, if you put it right way, is actually the real conjugal love. It's enjoyment. There is no such thing as I'm fighting today with the Lord because he didn't clean dust or I didn't purchase the boga for lunch. No. All activities Krishna works immediately, and he's sending us feelings also. He's sending us the reason to develop feelings for him. And also he's developing feelings for us, deeper and deeper feelings. Many times it's mentioned in the Shastras that actually the most dear to the Lord are actually bhakti yogis or devotees. And that's truth. That's truth. And this is something that we can use as our advantage in the spiritual life. Now, we have even one of the rasas, for example, what was very interesting for me to explore is horror. You know, horror movies, scary things. Oh, that's also rasa that we like, believe or not. My daughter will tell you opposite. She will say, no, I don't like it. Yeah, we don't like, but even those sometimes, you know, that means we're thinking about it. How many people making scary movies and different things? How many times we feel, you know, threatened at the night, or what is under the bed, or just the regular horror. What will happen if this plane crash and I'm inside? What will happen? It's all horrors, you know. That rasa particularly brings fear in our life. That's engagement of that rasa. How to transform that into spirituality? Is it possible? There is a way. You can think about some lila, right? There's 10 canto, full of different lilas of Krishna, of the Lord, where he ended up with a demon, and so many things happened. It was very scary. So we should think about Krishna, about the Lord. Oh, please let me help him. Let me do something. Let me pray. Let me, you know, Krishna, please come back. You know, this is the way how actually the horror we can transform into something that is good for us also. That we develop certain more taste for the Lord. So there are different ways how to do so. They told me to finish at 9 o'clock sharp, so I will try to be, you know, sure. That's why I'm jumping a little bit. So the point is, there is an explanation in canto number 1. I'm telling you, canto number 1 is really fantastic. Explanation in canto number 1 also how to become a Vaishnava. For those who wants to become a Vaishnava. There is the saying 122. There is a saying that the person is born as a general, as ordinary man, most of us. And then after that, there is the purificatory process, and then we become born second time. And when we see a new light and seek direction for spiritual progress, we approach a spiritual master for instruction of the Vedas. And then the spiritual master accepts only those who are sincere, as his disciples and gives them the second threat. That means Brahman initiation. We become a Dvija. Dvija is twice born. And then after that, one may study the Vedas, and after becoming well-versed in the Vedas, then we can become a Vipra. This is the next level after Dvija. And Vipra is a qualified Brahmana. So basically you have Brahmanas and qualified Brahmanas. Only Vipras are those who are qualified Brahmanas. And they realize the Absolute and makes further progress in spiritual life until they reach the Vaishnava stage. So again, same like with Bhakti Yoga, being Bhakta, being devotee is very high standard, high level. Same with Vaishnava. You know, being Vaishnava or Vaishnava is not that simple level. It's not that, okay, let me become Vaishnava. I'm start chanting tomorrow, I'm Vaishnava. No. Being Vaishnava is very high standard. To become a Vaishnava, we are now candidates for Vaishnavas, let's be clear. To become a Vaishnava, first we have to accept a spiritual master. Then we should get initiation. Then we should get a second initiation. And then after that we should start studying Shastra seriously, the Vedic knowledge. And after becoming Vipra, so that means becoming Dvija is not enough. It's just not enough. After becoming Vipra, that means somebody who understands the absolute truth. Then we're becoming serious candidate to become a Vaishnava. Once we realize that absolute truth, once we implement that in the life, and once our spiritual master is satisfied with our endeavor, then we become a Vaishnava. We can call ourselves Vaishnavas. So for all those who are going around and somebody's asking and you're telling, I'm a Vaishnava, yes, because we worship Vishnu. In that level, yes, we are Vaishnavas. But Vaishnava's qualification is something much higher and requires a lot of effort and hard work. And that's why we should not even waste much of our time for all noble activities, for all material activities. We actually have to focus, because life is short, the day is very short, Kali Yoga is, and we don't have time for anything else but devotional service for the Lord. So, basically, another answer which was very interesting for me, you know, there is a lot of discussion, even just recently I was part of one discussion in one circle of devotees in Europe. What is karmi? You know, we use that word karmi, you know, for somebody who is not devotee. And many devotees actually, they hate to use that word, karmi. You know, why we call those who are not chanting a karmis? What is the difference between us and them? I mean, they are also people. Yes, they are people. But karmi is not something offensive. Karmi, actually, there is explanation in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is explanation what does it mean, karmi. And it's nothing wrong, it's just somebody who needs to wake up and stop being karmi. So there is explanation that unhappy materialists can get out of simply by desiring to get out. That means if we want to go out of material disease, we just need to do one thing, nothing else, just one thing, to desire to go out of that, to develop desire for that. Unfortunately, they're so foolish that they do not want to escape. They want to stay there. Therefore, they are compared to the camel who release thorny twigs because he likes the taste of the twigs mixed with blood. You know the camels in Africa or everywhere, the camels, they love doing that. You know, they go to the highest tree with twigs and they start trying to eat and to chew, and because it's so sharp, they mix with the blood from their own tongue and they love that taste. So this is basically an explanation in Vedas is actually what materialists are doing. Their pleasure is always mixed with material suffering. And they start developing habit of having a pleasure for that taste. And this is what we who develop desire to go out of that material ignorance, we have to avoid all the time. To mix pleasure with spirituality. Or to enjoy only in spiritual activities. That's the right way actually. We want a nice food, we can enjoy in prasadam. We want to have conjugal love with some lady or some gentleman. In that case, we need to do it on a regulated way. We want to perform the certain activities. Okay, let's do preaching. We want to have a car. Okay, let's have a car for the Lord. Let's have a car for the Krishna. Let's serve some gurus. Let's serve, let's develop the business. And with that money we can serve the Lord also. Nothing wrong with that. The wrong is actually what we are doing with the fruits of our enjoyment. The fruits are going towards Krishna. We have even higher, supreme enjoyment, which is fantastic. So now the karmi, that person, that materialist who basically same like that camel, does not realize that it is his own blood and that his tongue is being cut by the thorns. Similarly, to the materialist, his own blood is as sweet as honey. And although he is always harassed by his own material creations, he does not wish to escape. Such materialists are called karmis. So it's explained. It's not some word that some devotee in 80s made. It's actually explained in the Shastra, and there's nothing wrong. It's also qualification. And those who want to stop being karmis, they can also stop performing spiritual activity. They have to do one thing, just to develop desire to go out of that stage, to stop enjoying their own blood, mixed with some small pleasures here and there. And then, they're going to the path of devotion. So basically, another big question and big illusion of devotees is that everything what we do in Bhakti Yoga, everything what we're trying to do to achieve should be perfect. Everything what we do during the day has to be perfect. No, the right consciousness is that we have to try to perform everything perfect. But actually, very rare occasions is going to be really ideal, really perfect. And we need to be aware of that. We need to understand that that's absolute truth. And Srila Prabhupada even mentioned one story, one very interesting story about the thief. It's not story, it's a history actually, it's a true story. There was one very, very famous thief of his time, and I think it was Varanasi. And then anyway, it was just his daily routine to go around and to steal bags from the people and just to take items and to throw the bags away. And in one moment in his life, he decided, okay, what is enough, it's enough. I want to change. I want to become somebody else, and I want to become a spiritual. I want to go for the pilgrimage, right? So he found one friend who was already going a few times for the pilgrimage. He went with him, and they came to one sacred ashram in Himalayas. It's actually in the bottom of Himalayas, and they spent beautiful day, great, full of spiritual activities. They went to sleep during night. And in one moment, the thief just wake up and he felt anxiety. I didn't steal anything today. It's a problem, It's not easy. My job, it's me, it's who I am. I have to do it. So he wake up, he start wandering around and start taking bags, picking up bags, and he pick up the like full mountain of bags. He make in one corner and he just start opening one by one to see what is inside and items to take. And then figure out, oh my God, what I'm doing. I came here with these wonderful people, they came to worship the Lord, and I'm just stealing from them, and although that's my duty, that's who I am, it's not right. It's a completely wrong thing to do that. And basically, I'm like kind of demon, so what I should do? Then he figured out, okay, let me bring all those bags back and go to sleep. Nobody will know. But what he forgot actually, that he didn't know which bag belongs to which person. Because start mixing bags, one bag he put just here, the other there. So they all wake up in the morning and it was like, some gentlemen, they have a nice lady red color bags next to them. Some ladies, they had the big, Harinam bags with the karatals and everything next to them. And everybody was like, where is my bag? What's going on? And then they start figuring out, okay, is this your bag? Oh yeah, this is my bag. Oh no, and they start exchanging bags, and finally they figure out that all bags are there and all items are inside. So they were wondering whole day what's happened during night. And then end of second day, actually, the thief came out in front of everyone and he was telling, I need to confess. The sessions, I'm confessing now, my name is I'm confessing. I need to confess to you that actually last night I wake up and this is my weakness, okay? And I had to do it, but then I figure out and I apologize to everyone. Did you think that they curse him or something? No. All of them, they give blessings actually to go out of that stage and to forgive, and they forgive. And he was asking for forgiveness. And actually, that is the most beautiful part of spiritual life. We should not expect from everyone around to be perfect. we should just learn to forgive to each other, because we're going to make plenty of mistakes on our way. But if we really want to be truly Vaishnavas, I can tell you one thing. The other day I was giving the class for Russian devotees, and I did research on forgiveness. You know, and actually I find out, you know, there was a story of Brahma who stole the children, this cows and cowboys, right? And there is explanation that why, which was fascinating to me, why devotees after 20, 30 years in Krishna consciousness, they stop feeling advanced levels. Why they stop feeling taste in Krishna consciousness, in the holy name and everything. Why that effect is happening. And it's actually answer for at least 90% of us who just in one moment stop feeling that we are going somewhere further. And explanation is actually, if we don't learn how to forgive and how to ask for forgiveness, how to give and receive forgiveness, we cannot go into advanced stage of Krishna consciousness. We're going to stuck in one particular moment, and we're going to stop feeling the taste even after performing the devotional service. It's very interesting and very deep point. I was like, wow. And after you reflect on that, after you go deeper into the issue, then you figure out, okay, there is something serious behind this statement. After 20, 30 years, we need to show seriousness, right? What is the first symptom of seriousness? Forgiveness, the mercifulness. So if we don't become merciful, and if we don't learn to ask for forgiveness, we cannot advance. Same like that thief. He could just remain silent. Nobody will know. But he got blessings because the right people was around him and he did the right thing. So if we do the right thing and have right people around us, then we can expect the perfect benefit, and we can advance further, and we can feel the taste, and we can feel that enjoyment and all these rasas in one, but in correlation with the Lord. Thank you very much. It's already 9:05. I need to stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande.